Hey everyone, Schwab here to share with you my latest reads, which are Mary Poppins Opens the Door and Mary Poppins in the Park by P.L. Travers. As always, I am not paid by anybody to share and recommend books. I'm just a nerd that really likes reading, and so this is my way to share with everyone what I'm reading about and what's good and what's bad. So on that note, let's talk about Mary Poppins. So I started reading the series at the very beginning of the year, around winter time, around the time that Mary Poppins Returns was going to hit theaters with Emily Blunt. And I realized I never read the series before as a child, so I decided I was going to dive back in and read them. So I read the first two books in like February, March, around that time, and I really enjoyed them. Those two books have similar stories as the movies. Well, it's Julie Andrews and Emily Blunt. Then I decided to take a break, and I read a whole lot of other stuff. A few of those things you could have seen in my previous videos. Recently, I came back to the story because if you have watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I was reading a lot of really dark psychological thriller type books, and my head needed a break. So I decided to go into magical and whimsy, and I picked back up the series and wanted to finish that off before going into something different again. So Mary Poppins, for those who are not familiar with Mary Poppins, she's this magical nanny who's in charge of the Banks children. The Banks children are, really young kids that are full of mischief and fun, and they're really interested in what Mary Poppins has to say about everything. And since Mary Poppins is magical, they just love her all the more. They really enjoy her adventures that she takes them on, and some of the adventures could be, going into a chalk drawing, or having a statue come to life, or visiting a miniature park within a park, those kinds of things. And they just love going on these adventures, and they're always, they come back from the adventures and they want to talk to Mary Poppins about it, and Mary Poppins always pretends like that she doesn't know what they're talking about. And she just kind of looks at him and says, "That's just nonsense. I would never do such things," because she's a prim and proper lady, and how could they say such nonsense to her? And they always figure out that, the first they question whether or not the adventures are real, and then they figure out that they were real because they'll see something that Mary Poppins has on or something like that to make them feel like, oh, okay, this did really happen, and she's just messing with us or playing with us or whatever. The stories are really fun and cute. They're good for, if you're going to read to your kid, definitely you should read those to them. If you've never read the series before and you're an adult like me and you're interested, definitely should check it out. I have to say that Mary Poppins is probably one of my favorite characters in literature. She's just, she is very prim and proper. She loves to look at herself, and she thinks very highly of herself. She's perfect in every way, and she has, pretty dresses and hats and things like that, and it's always commented on in the book. So it's very interesting how she sees herself. And she sees herself as this prim and proper person, but then she goes on these adventures with the kids, and the adventures aren't as prim and proper. She's not as uptight as she may seem. And there's also there's fear and there's also respect for Mary Poppins among the adults and among the children, but they still love her. They appreciate what she has to do, and they really want her to stick around and do what she does best. So on that, I do enjoy that character. I enjoy that she likes to trick the kids, and she plays with them, and she really does care about them. She's tough, but she really does care about them and wants them to be good people, and she wants them to, have fun and be kids. Overall, I would say the series is a really good one. It's definitely one that you should read, whether you're an adult or you want to read it to your kid or whatever. The only thing I was disappointed in was the fourth book, just because the fourth book, while the other three books, they follow, a regular narrative style where Mary Poppins, comes into the picture and then she leaves. The fourth book is just a compilation of adventures that just so happen to take place in a park. They're just kind of like the reject stories that didn't fit into the other three stories. So it's a mishmash of stuff that, if you're looking for like an anthology for Mary Poppins, that would be the book. But it doesn't really, to me, it just doesn't, it's not like a good tie-in to the rest of the series. It doesn't end it. The third book is the one that ends the whole series for me. The fourth one was just like, oh, we have extra, here you go. Overall, I think if you're an adult or kid, you should definitely be reading the Mary Poppins series, or at least one of them, the first Mary Poppins book, just to get an idea of who the character is and how you can even compare her to the Emily Blunt version or the Julie Andrews version. And on that note, if you have not seen the Mary Poppins movies, you definitely should. I know that Emily Blunt's Mary Poppins Returns is on Netflix. I just watched it the other day, so definitely check that out. Not sure about the Julie Andrews one, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. But it's always really cool to be able to read the books and then compare it to the movie. The movies are somewhat similar to the books. If you know anything about P.L. Travers, she was not happy with how her characters were portrayed in the Disney films, and that's why there was such a long time before Emily Blunt came into the picture with hers. So keep in mind that some of the adventures are similar, but all along story tie-in, not so much, and that's what made P.L. Travers not very happy with Walt Disney and Sherman Brothers, etc. But it's very interesting to look at, and there's definitely a book out there that explains P.L. Travers and her side of the story and things, and so that's also interesting to look at as well. That's all I have for today. You can find the Mary Poppins series on Amazon. You can get all 4 books in one package, which is pretty cool. You can also find the Mary Poppins series at your local bookstore, and you can find them at your library. If you like what you saw, please hit subscribe. Other than that, I will see you next time. Keep on reading. See ya. Bye.